lurking.
You know what to do. Do it now, else something may be lurking you.
This happened quite a few years back, around 2010. I had split up with my ex-girlfriend and needed a place to live. Looking online, I found a great place with excellent commuting links to central London for work. A very quiet village with literally one shop. Anyway, it was a lodger kind of deal, but for what I paid, was such a wonderful bargain. A huge 4-bedroom house with a massive garden, conservatory, modern kitchen, cable TV, fast Wi-Fi, etc. It was just me and the landlady, a retired teacher, and also a widow of several years from what I gather. She was very kind and had an almost hippie-ish personality. Background over, let me start with the actual events. The landlady, let's call her Helen for sake of anonymity, had distant family living in Australia. About 2 months after moving in, she went to stay in Australia for 3 weeks to visit her family. Great. I thought. I have the place all to myself. A few nights into this freedom, I was downstairs watching some show very late at night. As I sat watching, in my peripheral vision, to my right, I noticed this very strange blurry ball of light. It seemed to be rising up and down very slightly. To describe the size and color, it was approx the size of a grapefruit. And it was white, with what seemed to be a slight yellowish haze. After a beat, I looked directly at it and saw it literally disintegrate into nothing within half a second. At this point, I dismissed it as a trick of the light or maybe just tired eyes and wasn't particularly spooked or alarmed by it. Fast forward a month. The landlady was back, and I recently started seeing a new girlfriend. I hadn't mentioned any of what I saw to either. For the most part, I'd largely forgotten about it. Anyway, my new girlfriend had stayed at mine for half a dozen times, and for some reason, she never wanted to relax downstairs. Always wanting to stay in my room. This bugged me, as I felt really limited and wanted to chill downstairs every now and then. It kinda sparked a row, as I was saying, what's wrong? Has Helen said something to bother you? This was when I found out she had a gift. And that the first time she came round, she had wondered who the man was that was sitting in the conservatory. She soon enough had realized that the man wasn't real. And revealed to me that most times she went upstairs after coming in, she saw a thick mist halfway up or on the landing. She described it as a column of smoke. Okay, at this revelation of all this, I became very concerned and yes, pretty alarmed at it all. Was she imagining all this, etc.? I didn't notice anything since that orb but was inquisitive. She and I took photos of each other in my room. Her pic of me was fine. Mine of her had a crazy amount of orbs all around her. Same lighting. Same position. Everything. Now I was seriously thinking, damn, there is definitely something up here. I didn't feel threatened, but mostly really curious. This, however, was all about to change. I can't recall how much after this was, maybe a few weeks, but she was staying over in my room. And I woke up to the sound of her being rather distressed from what was a very bad dream. I comforted her and said it was all right, just a nightmare, it's okay kind of thing. And we soon drifted back to sleep. An hour later, at the time which seems to be very active for paranormal events, 3 a.m., I woke up again. This time I heard her saying he's here. I felt this most severe feeling of dread overwhelmed me. When I sleep, I am usually facing the left side. And she was facing the other side, next to me. I had to fight this huge desire not to look, but a part of me implored me to roll over and see. I rolled over and was met with the most terrifying sight I'd ever had. There was a man. Clear as day, considering the time of the night and the available lighting, literally standing next to her. He was tall. And had the most distinctive hair, wild and gray. He was staring at my girlfriend in a very intense manner. The sense of time seemed to be very vague here, but this must have lasted a minute or two, as this apparition then gradually disintegrated into nothing. I was unable to move, speak or make sense of what happened. Total shock. After it's vanished, the room seemed to adopt a lighter vibe. We discussed what happened for quite some time, and I smoked a ton of Bensons to try and calm myself. Early that morning, after not getting any sleep as the lights had all been switched on, we both go downstairs. Helen had a little study room, which up till now I'd strictly respected her privacy, but I wanted answers and needed to find out anything which might explain who this man was. So we go inside, and within moments, see a picture of Helen together with the exact man. Hair, face, everything matched. So, it's her dead husband then, we discovered. I was unable to spend time there for ages. Practically half moving in with my girlfriend at her flat in London. But there was a need to stay back in my place on occasions as it wasn't possible to always be at hers. The times I spent in my room always felt uncomfortable. And I always woke up just after 3 a.m. to what seemed to be a very murky kind of atmosphere. Like thick, if that makes sense. The temperature would drop as well, and I knew that he was there. Watching me. I was utterly freaked, and even if I badly needed to use the bathroom, I was too nervous to leave my duvet shelter with the thought he was visible again. I will mention that I told my landlady what happened, and she wasn't really ready to believe me, saying she hasn't seen or felt any presence of her ex-husband. I wasn't going to press the issue as it was a sensitive matter. But I decided I had to fully leave the place and, still wanting my own space, to find fresh digs. It was about a week or so before I finally moved out that I was there alone on a Saturday. About midday. It was a nice summer day, and the house felt warm and normal. Perhaps this gave me a sense of bravado as I decided to audibly vent some thoughts. I was upstairs and proceeded to loudly shout how annoyed this made me, and that perhaps it's all a load of crap. That it was some freakish hallucination, etc. Well, as soon as I finished the last word, a colossal bang noise came from downstairs. It was a heavy metallic crash with a reverberating after the tone. I crapped my pants. What the F was that? I thought. I had to go downstairs, especially now I had to leave the house and go somewhere to get away. I go downstairs, and literally in the hallway by the front door was an ornate, silver antique serving tray. This tray was always on the dining room table. It usually had a wooden bowl on it with fruit inside. Now, two things were evident. This tray had clearly been picked up and thrown to the floor in a section some distance from where it originated. Secondly, this spirit was angry and displaying its strength. I was done. I telephoned Helen while staying with my girlfriend and told her I would be there to drop off the keys, and if she wasn't there I'd put them through the letterbox. I didn't tell her what just happened, but that I needed a fresh place to stay. That following weekend, I was there with my girlfriend packing the car with my possessions. Helen wasn't there, so it was just the two of us. My girlfriend was upstairs grabbing a few light bags of clothing and came running downstairs saying he's whipped me. I was like, what? And yes, she lifted her top, and there it was. About half a dozen red lash marks across her back. I said wait in the car, and I ran upstairs, grabbed what was left, and shoved the keys through the letterbox. Never returned.